Today we will speak about brutal death metal of United States. And let's speak that, of course, death metal, how we know it, started from here, from the United States, from Florida, from New York, and not only. Okay, the forefathers of death metal maybe, let's say, is Possessed, but Possessed, they were even more a thrash metal band, that they influenced the death metal, of course. Even one song of the first album of Possessed, Seven Churches, was by the name death metal. And also we can say that Celtic Frost and Hellhammer from Switzerland, let's say that is also one of the forefathers of death metal. But now, when we are speaking about real fathers of death, we are coming to the band by the name Death. And someone that likes very much Death as a band, it's difficult to say which album of them is the best. For me, two albums of them, they're very close to my heart. One of them is, of course, Leprosy. But here I will speak about my best death metal, brutal death metal albums from the United States. And even if I like so much Leprosy, the second album, I will prefer to speak about Symbolic. Symbolic, the album one before their last album, so special. And afterwards, we continue with another very big name inside the death metal scene of United States, and I'm speaking, of course, about Morbid Angel. Morbid Angel, and for me, their best album is the second one, Blessed Are the Sick. Maybe because it's a little bit more technical from the first, from their debut album of them. And now I'm continuing with another also very special death metal band from the United States, Dayside. Okay, now many people prefer the first album, and I understand that, or the second, the Legion. I will say here the third album, Once You Burn the Cross, maybe because this album is the first death metal album that I listen generally. Okay, Dayside, of course, they are very influenced by Slayer. And I'm continuing with Obituary. And here maybe many people prefer Cause of Death. But I will say about them, I think this is the third album, The End Complete. Another also very good death metal album that people from members of Death, they were inside this album, the first Massacre, and the album From Beyond. Also Autopsy. Okay, Autopsy and Metal Funeral. And I'm continuing with another band from New York, from the scene of death metal, of brutal death metal of New York, Immolation. And so let's speak about their first album, Dawn of Possession. And if we're speaking about the debut albums of United States death metal, brutal death metal, let's speak also about the first album of Suffocation, Human Waste. And also the first album of Malevolent Creation, and their album, the first album, The Ten Commandments. Very good album. And now, afterwards, let's speak about Cannibal Corpse. Yeah, for me, for many years, Cannibal Corpse was not exactly my taste of brutal death metal, and I prefer today that, can I say that it is, I prefer both of their two periods. And here I will speak about the album The Bleeding. Okay, the last one of the first period. And if we're speaking about Cannibal, let's speak also about 6 Feet Under, and their first album that for me is the best of them, Haunted, 6 Feet Under. At last and not least, let's speak about one of the best technical death metal bands of United States of today, and of course I'm speaking about Nile. About Nile and their album Annihilation of the Wicked. Okay, this is my favorite brutal death metal bands and albums from the USA. From Israel, from Jerusalem, stay metal.